the series on eBay. In this series, we're going to look at selling items on eBay using the Advanced tool. If you switch to the Advanced tool, which eBay does not recommend, you get many more options. So even though they don't recommend it, I would always use it. There's just so many more options that you're allowed to pick using the Advanced tool. So over here, give us the title of your listing or enter a barcode, an ISBN, a VIN, or a part number, and it'll search for that item. So this time we're going to list a Nintendo Wii U. And we're going to get started. So it asks us to select a category based on our item listing, and the category that would make sense for this is video games and consoles. Now notice there are check boxes. You can select more than one category. More than one category will create multiple listings. This will set up the same listing in multiple categories. There is a charge for that. So we'll just leave video games and consoles and click continue. Now it's going to ask us what Nintendo Wii U I want to sell. Remember, there's more than one. There's the basic and deluxe. So we're going to sell the deluxe console. I'm going to click sell yours. Just like in the quick listing tool, a lot of information will be pre-filled in for you. So once we get here, a lot of things are the same as the quick listing. However, we have more options like add or remove options. Here to add, we can add a subtitle. We can add the ISBN number or UPC if it's a book, or the barcode number for other items. We can add in photos or watermarks. We can do a format and price. All of these are covered in the listing, but this puts them kind of all in one place. So just like before, we have to pick a condition: new, refurbished, used, or for parts are not working. If your item is broken, where it does not function as intended, you need to put the condition for parts are not working. For example, if you have a phone with a broken button, this is the category you should use. Even though the phone would work, it doesn't function as intended. Okay, if we pick new, we're allowed to use a stock photo. If we pick used, you're required to upload a photo of the item other than the default. I can't use the stock photo. I'm actually required to put my own photo up there showing the item. Make sure that the photos you upload, you can upload up to 12 for free. Make sure the photos you upload accurately depict the condition of the item. If your photo shows a brand new Wii U and your gamepad is scratched, for example, that can be grounds for the seller filing a claim based on saying that the item is not the condition as it was described in the listing. Avoid this problem by using authentic photos of your item and not a stock photo of another item. Now, if it's new in the box, you can use a stock photo because if it's new, it's expected to not have any issues. And when you point to a condition or pick a condition, you will get a little help here that'll tell you new is a brand new, unused, unopened, undamaged item in its original packaging where packaging is applicable. So if I pick used, an item that has been used previously, an item that has some signs of wear, fully operational, for parts are not working, an item does not function as intended or is not operational. Now notice when I picked used or for parts are not working, I got a condition description down here. You must fill that in. If the item is not new, you must fill in what the current condition of the item is. Be as specific as possible. You have 1,000 characters. Be as specific as possible. For example, if I was selling an iPhone, slight scratch on back plate, screen has smudges, something of that nature. If it's not in mint condition, don't say it's in mint condition. If the phone looks like it's been dropped 8 times, don't say never been dropped. The condition has to match what the actual item the buyer receives is, or they can file a claim. So be honest and be very descriptive in your condition. So add item specifics. What comes with the item if you are including things that do not typically come with the console in this example? So games. Say I was including games, extra games that didn't come with it. I can check that box. Details, I can write in standard or HTML. So brand new Wii U open box, and then I can use the controls here to change, make it larger, change the font, whatever. The more details you put, the better. However, don't be redundant. If you are if you're selling for a business, you might want to put your terms and conditions here in the detail as well, in addition to what you're selling. If you're just selling 1 or 2 items, a basic description is fine. All right, the listing price, the starting price. Now, you'll get help over here on eBay telling you prices that will help your items sell based on previous sales. If you're selling something unique, these might not show up. There has to be a transaction history of what you're selling for these to show up. So the starting price is the first bid of the auction. So if I start this at $1, the first person that bids, whatever they bid, the bid will be $1. We talked about in Lesson 3 eBay's automatic bidding, Lesson 4, eBay's automatic bidding, where if I bid $100, it bids up to that based on other activity. The bid doesn't jump immediately to $100. It jumps whatever the next increment is, and then it goes up to my maximum. So buy it now price has to be at least 30% more than the starting price. So I can't put the buy it now price at $1.20. If I have the starting price at $1, 30% more would be $1.30. So the starting price is the minimum bid. If you only get one bid, that will be what the item will sell for. The buy it now price is a price that a seller or a buyer, can buy the item for right now. In the auction, they get the item. All right, how long do you want it to last? 7 days is the default, but you have other options, 3, 5, or 10. Selecting a different duration will change fees. You can donate a percentage of your sale to different nonprofits. How are you going to get paid? eBay or PayPal is overwhelmingly the most common option. You should use this option unless you cannot use PayPal for some reason. Now, if they use buy it now and you check this box, when they click buy it now, they must go ahead and pay to complete the process. If they don't pay, it doesn't mark it as bought. If you don't check this, they can buy it now in the auction and then pay later. If you're going to do buy it now, I would recommend checking this box so when your item sells, you know immediately that you're going to get paid. How do you want to ship it? So we can use Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, or just generic. Let's say we're going to ship this item with FedEx. So I'm going to click Go. So services. What service are we going to use? We'll just use economy. I can charge up to $50 for shipping. Don't be exorbitant on shipping costs. Charge close to what it would cost. So let's charge $20 here. Or we can do free shipping. Now remember, on your final value fee, you will pay 10% of your shipping cost to eBay. So free shipping actually lowers your costs if you feel it'll get you a higher price. Sometimes free shipping will get you a higher price, and it'll save you from paying 10% of your shipping cost to eBay in a final value fee. Handling time, I talked about this a little bit in the quick listing tool. Be honest on these listing times. 1, 2, or 3 days. 1 day is the norm, or 2 days. Don't put same business day if you're not going to ship the item the day it sells. eBay does shipping estimates based on the service the buyer chose and the handling time. So if it's going to take you 2 days to get the item to UPS, post office, or wherever, don't put same business day, because then the buyer's going to get in the listing an estimated shipping date, and that date can't be met if the handling time is 2 days instead of what you told eBay was going to be same business day. So be honest here. Put the longest it would possibly take you to do this. So if it's going to take you 1 day, it might make sense to put 2 days just in case something happens, you can't get there or whatnot. I typically on my listings put 2 days. Now package type, this helps calculate the shipping cost. So we're going to use a large package for this, and the dimensions, we'll just do something basic. And weight, let's just say 5 to 6 pounds. The item location, where the item is coming from. This will default to wherever you are. The address you have on an eBay account, however, you can change it. Next, we need to talk about returns. Will you accept returns or not? Accepting returns will enhance selling in some cases. Returns can be a hassle, as you know. Typically, I accept returns for 14 days with money back and a 20% restocking fee. I accept returns if someone truly decides they don't want the item, not someone that has buyer's remorse. That's why there's a 20% restocking fee, because it still costs money for me. When they return and I refund the money, I still had to pay a 10% final value fee to eBay. So they're going to pay for that. And I charge 20%, 10% to pay the fee, and 10% for the inconvenience of having to resell an item. You can choose, and some sellers choose not to accept returns at all, and that's perfectly fine. Once you buy it, you bought it. Now, no returns does not mean that if someone files a claim because the listing was inaccurate, that they can't get their money back. No returns means they can't return the item. If all the rules were followed, they can't say, I changed my mind, I don't want it, and try to send it back. So no returns does not protect you, the seller, from a mistake you made, either intentional or unintentional, in your listing that caused them the buyer to file a claim. Now, buyers do not win all cases. However, if, like we mentioned, if the condition of your item is not listed properly, the photos are inaccurate, the description does not match what the item actually is, the buyer typically has a good case of winning that claim against you. Large numbers of claims will cause eBay to take action and prevent you or limit your ability to sell items. So we're going to continue. Now, review your fees. You get 50 free listings per month. So this is free. So I don't need to do anything here. If I click continue, I can list it, which I'm not going to do. Here, if we don't sell it, we can automatically list it up to 3 times. You'll only pay a final value fee if the item sells. So you basically get 4 times to list it. It won't cost you anything extra, and you'll pay the 10% fee if the item sells. However, if you properly price the item and the item is something that buyers want, it'll typically sell the first time. So if we preview our listing, here's what our listing will look like. So the starting price is $1. The price is $250. Shipping is $20. Something to note is, back to editing the listing, is the starting price. The starting price, like I said, is the minimum bid. So if the starting price is $1 and there's only one bid, the item will sell for $1. There are two ways to address this if you want to set a minimum price. One is to set the starting price to the minimum you're willing to accept. This makes it public for everyone, the minimum you're willing to accept. The other way is to use a reserve price, a hidden price that the item, if the price does not exceed the threshold, the item will not sell. You're not required to sell it. Buyers are not told what the reserve price is. So if I come here and check reserve price, click save, and then come back here and say change under the new item, no reserve price is set, we'll say $200. Now notice there's an extra fee to add a reserve price to your listing, and this fee is non-refundable. So if I add a $200 reserve, it's going to cost me $2 to sell this item. A reserve price is not recommended. Set the starting price to the minimum you're willing to accept for the item. Just showing you that option is available. It used to be prominently featured. Now it's kind of been scaled back. But my suggestion would be do not use this. Also, we can sell lots. Sell multiple items together for the same buyer. So let's say I had 10 Wii U's and I wanted to sell all of them as a unit. I can sell a lot by checking here. I can also do a scheduled start. So my listing will start at a specific date, not immediately when I click list, when I finish making the listing, but I want it to start at some point in the future. Now, for payment, we can use credit cards directly, but PayPal is the most common option. So as you see, this is why these are hidden here and not listed on the page. We have more shipping options. Here, your international shipping is now hidden. If you want to ship your items outside of the country of origin, you may use that. That opens up a whole different ball game, though. If you're an individual seller and not a business, I would not recommend offering international shipping. Ship to only the country that you reside in. It'll make your life much, much easier to do that. International shipping, unless you're selling unique items, will not typically selling internationally unless you're selling unique items will not typically increase the amount of buyers looking for your item or the amount of sales you'll make, but it can create a huge hassle for you. So I'd recommend avoiding that option. You can also look at other details here. We can set up buyer requirements. Let's talk about those. We can charge sales tax if we need to. For example, we're a business and we're required to collect sales tax for orders in the same state. But let's look at buyer requirements. So down here under Add Other Details, we now have buyer requirements. The default is all buyers. We can add requirements to say if they don't have a PayPal account, if they received a certain number of unpaid claims within the last month, has a shipping address in countries I don't ship to, a violation report, a feedback score, has bid or bought my items in the last 10 days and met my limit, or other. So these will limit the number of buyers. However, it's a fine line. The less buyers you have, the less likely you are to sell your item. I typically don't use these unless I'm selling in a category that has a high amount of buyers leaving negative feedback or buyers with low feedback buying. I might turn this on here to eliminate buyers with very low feedback from buying items. However, I typically do not use these options. So, we've covered auction style listing so far. Quickly, let's look at fixed price. Now, fixed price takes the auction out of it and just lists a buy it now. And with a buy it now, they also have a best offer. So in a classified, you'll see 250 OBO. So 250 or best offer. Well, I want to sell this item for 250, but I'll allow buyers to submit me another offer. I can also set up automatic respond and decline. So automatically respond to something that's at least 240, decline that's lower than 240. So if someone offers me $240, I'm going to automatically accept it and sell the item. If it's less than $240, I'm going to automatically decline it. Now, they can specify additional terms in their offer, like I want free shipping, I want this, that, or whatever. Now, if I'm selling in a fixed, I can also sell more than one item. Let's say I have 10 of these to sell, and I want to sell 10 items, each at $250, and I want to sell them to 10 different people. Remember, on the auction, we saw a lot, which is selling them to the same person. Under a fixed item, I can sell multiple items to different people. Each one of them is its own sale. And the listing will tell me how many have been sold, how many this particular item has been sold, and how many are left. Now, up here, notice, we recommend you list this as an auction. Buyers are almost twice likely to purchase the item when you list it as an auction. As an auction, buyers have more control over what they're going to pay. They decide by entering a bid. Fixed price, you're deciding what they're going to pay. And if your valuation is off, you could scare buyers away. That item is priced too high. If you price it too low, you might get a sale, but you might not make as much money as you could. Auction gives the buyers more control because they get to type in whatever they want. This item right here is going to sell for exactly $250. We talked about bidding wars before. Well, if two people bid up your item, you might bid it up to $350, more than what it's even worth new. But in a fixed item, it's going to be the price you set it. The one time you won't use the fixed items, like I just said, when you want to sell multiples of the same to different buyers, and you only want to do one listing, you do a fixed price, so you only have to do one listing. If you do auctions, you'd have to list each one separately. So in this lesson, we covered the advanced selling tool for listing an item on eBay.